figure that I had in my life a lot over the years. So I actually want to talk about my mom, since she's here. I've been here almost 2.5 years, and it took almost 2 years before Bernie got me up here to speak a few months back. And he asked me to speak again whenever I could later this year, and I chose this date again, not because of Father's Day, but because my mom was going to be here visiting. So she flew in this morning from Florida. It was supposed to be last night, but complications. But there's this mindset that people like to have, right? I like to say a preconceived notion and about a lot of things in life, right? And so, especially people in Florida or just out east, they all have this idea in their head about the West Coast or just people out west. They like to say that people out west, or the land out west, is full of people of fruits and nuts. Again, it's stereotypes, generalizations, but it's funny. After living here for so many years, I'm starting to see where some of that is truthful. There are definitely some differences with people out here, but anyway. So I wanted to point out a few things about my mom. Over the years, my parents didn't go to church. They were always busy working and. So they didn't go to church. They were always busy working and trying to put food on the table and keep the bills paid. But they did make sure when us kids didn't want to go, they facilitated that. So they helped us get set up where we could go with someone. And even let us stay the night at a person's house that would take us every Sunday. Even when they would be out of town on business, they would make sure that we would stay the night at this person's house so we could go. So they were always, supportful in that. Even though they couldn't come or didn't come, there was always that willingness to let us to do what we wanted to do and support our decision for that. And they could try to come to special events when they could, And so it was always really nice to have that support. And there's a lot of other things like, that I like to attribute to how I was raised, mostly from my mom, that, like being a gentleman, being a kind person, treating women with respect, and just not judging people by the color of their skin or their race or any other, aspect of that person. And it's funny because being raised like that might have been a little bit difficult because some people, where I come from, especially, they would consider our town a small redneck town, And so because of being a small redneck town, there's a lot of times there's these ignorance and there's this prejudice there, and so it brings with it, a different point of view from the people, So, but luckily, those attributes that my mom instilled in me over the years growing up, I put them to good use. I was always friends with everybody. I had good friends with all the different various cliques in high school. So everybody you can think of, all types of people, and also I had very close female friends over the years. And so none of that limited me over the years and made it really easy to transition when I went overseas. And was able to travel and stuff, and just made it a lot easier. Another thing I liked about how my mom approached parenting was she was always firm but fair. And I recall when I was old enough and I actually had a car, which I actually had to buy myself. I didn't give it to me. I had to pay for it myself and earn money to pay for it. When I was able to go out and stuff, she said, "Okay, if you go out at night, you better be back here and be ready to go to school in the morning because you're going to go to school regardless, and that means that even if you're hungover because you went out drinking with your friends." But of course I never drank. Back then I barely drink now anything. So, but the point was that I was going to go to school the next morning. It's on me. But then later, she always said, "Okay, well if you do miss school or make bad grades, that's on you because." Turn 18, come when you turn 18, you're out the door, high school or finished or not, Of course, it was always more of a joke or a funny thing because I think it was kind of cool because they made me feel like I had the choice to decide that how my life would be, whether I wanted to be a screw up or wanted to to do good with my life and be able to make do good grades and keep going. So I never went out and did anything crazy and stupid most of the time, that I can recall. So, but it was always really cool. Another good thing that I liked that I say our town was small. It wasn't that small, but it was small enough that, for example, we had they built a Walmart Supercenter, right? So the bigger one. Well, when that opened, it was bigger and more popular than our mall. So in fact, there was even kids from high school skipping classes when it opened, a grand open, to go check out this cool Walmart Supercenter. That tells you how small our town was, right? So because of that, that mentality, that lifestyle in a small town, my mom strongly encouraged us to try to go see some other places when we got older. To try to go to college and then to go somewhere out of town. There was a community college that was really good in the area, she encouraged us to go somewhere away. So I actually went 3 hours from home, and so I wasn't home that often, but I was often when I could. It was still driving distance. So, but it was go see a bigger city, see how other people are and how they think, and how life can be outside of our little bubble. And I can really see that now as an adult that. A lot of my friends that stayed there, there's still that slight difference in mentality, of how they think and how they act, and nothing against it, it all works, just, it's like growing up in a province or something in the Philippines and you stay there your whole life, there's nothing wrong with it, it's just different, you see things differently than other people, and so I kind of like, that I had that influence over the years, and because of that, that helped me, get out into the world and, go to college and then get the overseas job, not be objective to going to something like that, and actually going overseas and then working and traveling, and I said it eventually led me to where I am, and so again I'm just very thankful to have a supportive mother, and she was able to come visit us for the first time, and we'll see how she judges California after she's been here for 10 days. So, again, thank you.